issue, and the energy is also the biggest point. We can work to minimize the carbon emission. And we have done various engagement with stakeholder, like first we did MOU with Alternative Energy Promotion Center, which is the government entity in Nepal who works for alternative energy promotion and for like everything advocacy and making policies, and we do work very closely with them. And next we did like policy dialogue in many issues like e-cooking, energy and climate change issues. And another is like we did conduct research, we did publish articles which will help to aware people about the RE and like it importance. And next is like we, as Lena said, like we develop with 3 countries, develop the technical scenario and policy roadmap. Scenario just give the future projection. Okay, by 2050, like this is going to happen, and the policy roadmap will guide. Maybe it can guide to the policy makers and the researcher and the government people. Okay, now we need to make this kind of policies to support this projection. And we are like still doing the awareness and the campaigning for 100% RE. And Bagmati. And from this project, we have developed the energy strategy and action plan for the 2 provinces, and we have already handed over to them, and they are also working on like that energy strategy and action plan, and they are also putting those plans in their yearly budget in their province activities. And next one is like from the map in Nepal, we have also done the pilot project like solar water lifting drinking project for drinking and for water lifting for irrigation. And I have been to those places where the community people, they need the water and irrigation system, and they are not connected to the grid, and this solar water lifting is really helpful in those community to fulfill their need of water. And from this project, our team, MAP team, has participated in many forums and to share about our projects, our Nepal scenario, and our situation about the 100% RE. And from COP 27, we are participating in this kind of conference from this MAP project. And we have also participated in the Asia Pacific Forum in 2022, and you can see us in COP28 today also. And we are trying to just advocate that to get more awareness to people, like how important is the 100% RE vision and this all campaign you can see. And we just want to join hands with other and to promote 100% RE. And about the technical scenario, it clearly shows like in Nepal we can achieve net zero emission target by 2050, and by 2050 solar will be the majority in Nepal. It clearly shows that. And it also shows like we need more investment in the earlier year to more develop the technology and the other many kind of human resource, financial thing and everything. And at the end, it will be the lower in the cost, and it will be in the majority also. And we have also developed, I said, like policy roadmap. And there are, you can see the recommendation of this policy roadmap. There is like, we need to first make the storage capacity. When there is like solar or wind, we need the storage, right? So we need lot lots of investment. Then we need technical capacity building. There is a barrier in technical thing in Nepal, country like Nepal, and we need to scaling up decarbonize energy system in our policies, and then in transportation sector as well. And we need to focus on solar PV and wind energy to go to 100% RE. And we need to more focus on policies. I can say like in Nepal, like there is lots of policies over there, but implementation part is like always really hard. Like there is written in the word, but it's not, they're not doing as policy says. So it's like a real struggle in country like Nepal. Another thing is, I think we like still we need awareness, like okay, this is renewable energy, we need to go to solar and wind, we need to phase out fossil fuel. Like this kind of thing is still like people doesn't get it, like okay, what are you saying, or what is this thing. And I think community level they doesn't know, like because of the education system in Nepal, like in rural areas, it's really hard to get like schooling and everything. So I think we need to focus on these areas, because household energy also we need to prioritize, because still in Nepal 65% people are depending on traditional method of energy. They cook in the firewood and like charcoal and everything. So I think we need to focus on community level, maybe in the next level of this kind of project. And we have many lesson learning and challenges, because this project is started in the time of COVID, and like many activities were delayed, and like we're trying to deliver till December. So yeah, you can see that. And the learnings are like this, like we didn't have any evaluation in between the project. So we recommend like there should be a midterm evaluation to, okay, where it is working or not, like maybe we can change the methods or activities. So yeah, and you need to align with government plans, because if we are working in Nepal, then okay, government, what is government thinking? Okay, they are trying to align with our project or not, or it is feasible or not. Maybe you need to first concentrate or consider that fact as well. And the and I can say like MAP members, MAP platform, as we created in 3 countries, right? So that was really effective. People are really energetic. They always trying to give input, and in technical scenario, in policy roadmap, they are always ready to give feedback, to get input, and that platform should be there like after a MAP project, I can say that. So yeah, thank you so much. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Bidia. And if you're interested, when you see this QR code anytime, you can just shoot, click, press, and then you'll be taken directly to where the technical scenario policy roadmaps are. So that will bring you to our website, and then you will find what you need. So interesting, Bidia, you pointed out that the multi-actor partnership, so the MAP platform, interested to keep that going, of course, after to work on the advocacy phase. And one of the issues you brought up, of course, capacity building across the countries we see is in numerous places. And let's go to the next country, which is in Uganda. We have Yona here, and he's going to share. Yes, we'll do questions after, so write them down. So, Yona, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, the moderator, and thanks for the previous presenter. As also she mentioned, this project has been implemented in 3 countries, and Uganda is one of them. And basically, the presentation that I'm going to make is about one of the component project deliverables, main outcome of the project, which is the technical scenario. But of course, there are a number of deliverables of the project. One was, of course, establishment of multi-stakeholder, multi-actor partnership platform which is in Uganda, is well established, involving academia, government, and all stakeholders, research institutions, and private sector who come together to discuss, to dialogue, and discuss on the possible way on how Uganda can transition to 100% renewable energy by 2050. So the technical scenario I'm presenting is one of the tools, together the policy roadmap, which were developed in Uganda, are one of the tools to use in the dialogue and advocacy for the renewable energy transition. Basically, in Uganda, as Nepal is, Uganda is also a landlocked country with a population of over 45 million people. But of course, this population has been spontaneously growing. For the last 60 years, it has gone to over 500%. And of course, it's projected that by 2050, it would be about 80 million people. So compared to the world population, which is 160, which has grown 160% for the past 60 years, it means that really the Uganda is growing tremendously. And of course, based on the demographic, social, and economic growth for the country, there is need for energy access. And now, what do we need to do? Now, we need to plan for all this. And that's why we have a technical scenario here to show us the roadmap and the where we are going, and if we want to achieve 100% renewable energy in Uganda, what do we do, basically? So the country is entirely reliant on biomass, as you can see. That green on the chart, it's about 90% of biomass. And electricity is close to 2%, just 2% actually, the electricity access. Yeah, and 10% is fossil fuels. So, but however much we are reliant on biomass, biomass is not sustainable. It means there is something we need to do about biomass. So in this technical scenario that we are going to look at, basically, you realize that we set a target to have a sustainable biomass by 2050. So sustainable biomass means, of course, having supply and demand of biomass being at equilibrium. So that's what we are going to basically discuss. In the model, actually, during the technical scenario, it involved a lot of modeling work, which required generating data, collecting data, and then feed into the model, of course, which is OMF, which you can see. And then we came up with quite a number of outputs. And this model looked at 3 scenarios. So the 3 scenarios, we have the business as usual scenario, meaning this was based on the plans, the government plans, where we have the nuclear, which is in the government plan, Vision 2040, and other government plans are the ones that make a business scenario. And of course, for all the scenarios, we had target years. And the target years, one was 2030, 2040, and 2050. So, meaning that if we went for business scenarios, we had to project and use those target years up to 2050. The second scenario was high renewable energy. High renewable energy is that if we go to 80% renewable energy, but of course, entirely currently, the country, the renewable energy share, including biomass, is close to 90%. But now, on this case, we have to put biomass aside, and we only make it sustainable. So the 80% are other renewables minus biomass, but biomass in the sustainability form. That's how the scenario, the high renewable energy scenario is. Then the full renewable energy scenario, here it is 100% renewable energy, and of course with biomass sustainable. So on the other previous one, 80% means that the 20% actually is fossil fuels there, as we shall see. So of course the main output of the scenarios after the modeling, of course we had installed capacities and of course system costs, and other costing of devices, of course, as we shall see during the presentations. The main target forms of actual energy that we considered in this model is electricity and heat. Of course, electricity for industrial use and other domestic uses, but of course, heat mainly here for cooking and other combustion systems, as you shall see. So, of course, we considered a number of technologies, as you are seeing on your left-hand side, technologies which generated these kind of forms of energies in the model. Then, what are the key results which we can see here? When you look at the upper graph, actually, it shows that about 90% in both, actually, in the high renewable, in the full renewable energy scenario, the Uganda by 2050 would really entirely depend on 90% solar energy system. And of course, the rest now, 10% will be hydropower and then and storage capacities. So, and of course, here, it means that if we are to go full renewable energy, 100% by 2050, it means that Uganda would need 130 gigawatts power. And for high renewable energy where we have some mix of fossils, Uganda will need only 74 gigawatt hour. And of course, with their PV storage capacities, which is 400 and 500 gigawatt hours respectively. So compared to business as usual, which is of course 24 gigawatt, and here we see that now, if Uganda, we are to go full 100% renewable energy, compared to the current situation now, it means with full renewable energy, we need about 57%, high renewable energy, we need about 57%, not percent, 57 times more energy than actually what we have now. And if we are to go for full renewable energy, that is 100% renewable energy, we need about 100 times of the energy access that we have now, the energy demand that we have now, 100 times to reach by 2050. And of course, this has cost implications. For high renewable energy, which is 80% renewable energy, we might need to reach 74 gigawatt. Of course, we might need about 240 billion US dollars. Yeah. And for full renewable energy, we need about 340 billion US dollars. Yeah. But of course, when you look at the investment cost, upfront cost, which is very high, there are savings that are made if we go for full renewable energies. Yeah, of course, we see that there will be a reduction in the cost of electricity or the cost of energy, a reduction by 60% if we are to go high renewable energy, full renewable energy, high renewable energy. If we are to go full renewable energy, the reduction cost will be about 72%. So meaning the best option is really to transition to 100 renewable energy, despite the fact that the investment cost is high. Meaning the operation and maintenance, or in between, they are always cheaper. So full renewable energy is the best way to go, despite the fact that the investment cost is very high. Then if we go to emissions, we see that with renewable energy, with the transition to full renewable energy, and of course high renewable energy as well, those are the emission reductions. With business as usual scenario, as we say, there are 24% increase in emissions if we are to go that pathway of business scenario. But if we are to go high renewable energy where there is 20% of fossils in it, it means that the reduction of emissions goes by 60%. And of course, if we go to full renewable energy, it means that there is zero emission completely. We have reduced emissions by 100%, meaning that transitioning to renewable energy, especially for renewable energy, definitely there are quite a number of benefits that are involved, socio-economic benefits, and also even economic-wise, because we have seen that there is a reduction in cost of energy, despite there is a high, of course, investment cost that is involved. Then when we go to, of course, policy roadmap, yeah, of course, we also carried out, did a policy roadmap, we came up with a policy roadmap based on the work that we have done. And of course, there was also some analysis that was done first, analyzing the existing policies, identifying the gaps that are related to the energy transition and also energy sector and other sectors, and also finding a way on how possible the policies can enable this transition process. Of course, one of the findings, we realized that basically there is a lack of favorable feed-in tariffs, and this, of course, hinders the private sector investment into the renewable energy business. Yeah, and this is something, of course, that needs to be worked on, looking at the tariffs. How can the tariffs favor those dealing in renewable energy and feeding to the main grids? And of course, we have also policy and institutional coordination, which has been one of the challenges. We realized that actually all this number of sectors and institutions, when it comes to energy issues, there is lack of coordination. Planning are done independently, and this, of course, will inhibit the transition. And of course, when we talk of transition, we are talking of all sectors embracing this kind of transition. Then also there was issues of knowledge gap, of course, and where we need awareness, a lot of awareness raising about renewable energies. And also we need information systems where this information can be probably accessed, and all stakeholders knowing about renewable energies. And of course, you need to first understand what you are doing, where you are going, the practices, so that it can enable you transition better, or you can all achieve the same goal of the transition. Then, of course, there are quite a number of implementation measures which were also recommended for this kind of transition process. One, we need, of course, to strengthen and increase, of course, the upgrade National Bureau of Standards. Yeah, we have issues regarding the counterfeit. And this is something critical, and it needs to be strengthened. And of course, a number of control measures need to take place, so that, because there's a way how it spoils the market of these kind of technologies. We also, Uganda, of course, has quite a number of minerals resources. And these resources are really good for manufacturing, actually, some of these technologies we are talking about, where Uganda has really abundant of lithium, nickel, and cobalt, and some of them, of course, which are used in solar panels. So if we can have some of these things manufactured locally, it can reduce the other investment cost, actually, which you saw on renewable energies. So as a country, we need to think of that. And if there are investors, of course, from out, it is better if they manufacture from there, so that the reduction in cost of importation is really enhanced. Then, of course, digitization of some of this knowledge that we are talking about. We need to have a good information system where all sectors, all stakeholders can really get whatever they need to get about the renewables, so that all of us, we can move inclusively towards this agenda of the transition. Power losses reduction, also that is a key issue. And of course, we need also to look at centralized and decentralized renewable energy systems. Of course, Uganda, there are some quite number of homes which are scattered. So this kind of form which are scatters where taking national grid is very expensive. So here we would need centralized power systems to cut on the costs of the national that would be used to extend the national grid there. Then, of course, affordability has also been an issue. So we need also to look at funding, the resources of finance. It is also one of the issues that was highlighted that needs to be done on this. Yeah. So otherwise, thank you so much. And you need more information. Actually, the report is quite there. That is a QR code. You will scan as it has been mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Thank you, Yona. Trong, you have actually a microphone next to you as well. You can use, just turn it on. Hold it close to your mouth. It's off, okay. It's on, perfect. Hold it close to your mouth.
What, this one is better?
That's perfect. So Trong's here to share insights from Vietnam. I'm glad you made it. Floor is yours.
Can we move to the slide? Ah, okay. Okay, now. So good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for coming and present here. My name is Chung. I'm from WWF Vietnam. Today, I would like to, on behalf of the team of Vietnam, would like to share some results of the MAP project implemented in Vietnam. And since we have limited time, so I only want to highlight the key result only, but also it's include the 4 main parts. Firstly, I will go to the country context. So everyone will know about Vietnam. Secondly, the multi-actor partnership, what we call the MAP. And thirdly, the technical scenario on 100% renewable energy. And lastly, the roadmap on promoting energy transition in Vietnam toward 100% IE by 2050. And as you know that Vietnam is a country that located in the Southeast Asia region. And the population of Vietnam now reach, I think it's 100 million already. Yeah, you can find more about Vietnam on our website. However, I would like to highlight only the energy system of Vietnam right now. And on the right hand side above, you see we have the electricity demand. It's increasing since 2016 to 2023 to meet the economic growth. Economic growth in 2022, we have about 8% per year. And to meet the energy demand, it's increasing about 6.5% per year. And below, on the graph below, you see recently we have the booming in the renewable energy development. And for example, in the 2021, we have about 17 gigawatt of solar and about 4.6 gigawatt of wind in 2021. That's a lot. And on the graph below on the left, you see for the installed capacity update by September 2023 this year, you see we have about 79 gigawatt. And it can be said that we're quite dependent on the fossil fuel. It includes the coal, and gas and oils. It's about 40%, 46%. And hydropower play very important role in our energy system. It's nearly 30%. And the renewable only about in here, the solar is 13.7%, and the wind is only 9%. But when you look at the generation mix of energy system, it's we more depending on the fossil fuel. It accounts about 55%, and renewable is less less than the internal capacity. That because the reason because our transmission system now is limited, and when we want to absorb the high amount, the big amounts of renewable energy, the system will got a problem. So that's the reason. And the first reason, the project is the multi-actor partnership, what we call the MAP platform. And up to now, we have 46 members, and it comes from a different group, from the government, the academia, CSO, development partner, expert, energy expert, media, and also the most important actor in our MAP platform is business. They account more than 50%. Yeah, and both of them is coming from the manufacturer and the RE developer. And yeah, that's a multi-actor partnership platform. And second result is a technical scenario. Yeah, and in I see the similar to between Vietnam and Uganda about this one. We developed the three scenario. Firstly, the BAU, business as usual. The second is the high renewable energy, is 80% renewable energy. And the last one is the ambitious scenarios to reach 100% renewable energy. And we consider to five different different sector of Vietnam. It includes the industry, transport, household, commercial, agriculture. And the power sector will be modeled separately to supply the electricity to for five other sector of economic industry. And from the modeling result, we see that the electric industrial and transport will be the two biggest sector that most consume energy. It take about 80% of the total energy consumption. And the three other is households, commercial, and agricultural account like 20% remaining of the energy demand. And in here we see from the modeling, we see only two ways to become more renewable. To reach a high percentage of renewable, there are two ways. Firstly, try to maximize the electrification of the whole sector, the sector. And the second one, to replace the fossil fuel by the renewable fuel. That's the two ways, and it should be combined. And in here, we see that almost all the sector have the very high percentage of electrification. The lowest one is the transport. Transport can reach 50% by 2050. And other sector will reach electrification from 70 to 90% by 2050. When you see in the table that in here it's a comparison between the three scenario. When you see at the total final energy consumption, you can see that in the high renewable energy scenario, 80% and 100% RE, we will use less energy than BAU. It's about 6% and 9% to compare with BAU because of the higher energy efficiency. So we need less energy. And for the in the BAU, you see by 2050, Vietnam is still depending on the fossil fuel, about 74%. And the STRE scenario, we still depending on the fossil fuel, but only 20%. Only 20%. I think it's a strength because to become the renewable energy like 100% RE, it costs a lot because there's some area very difficult to transform. So that's why the STRE scenario will save the money because it still keeps 20% of fossil fuel in the scenario. And the one part is very important. That is a renewable fuel. Renewable fuel can be the biomass or the green hydrogen. and it will be replace fossil fuel where we cannot electrification. For example, in the water transport or aviation, it's very difficult to electrification in that area. So that in that case, we will replace by the fossil fuel by the renewable fuel. And in here, you see the total investment. Total investment of the bowl is the highest, and less it less in 80 RE and 100 RE. And you see here the scenario 80 RE have a lowest investment. It's about 26% to compare with the bowl, and the 100 RE it require is less than 20% to compare with bowl. And in the graph below on the left hand side, you see we compare in the modeling, we compare between two scenarios only. One is a bowl and one is a 100% renewable energy. And you see in some area, in some sector, we have the cost increase, but in other area it's decrease. And in when we transform to 100% RE, we can save money from the transportation, and we can have the benefit from the externality cost. So in the conclusion, to transform to 100% RE, we have the investment cost will be less than the bowl. And on the right hand side, you see the emission intensity. The emission intensity decreased from now to 2050, and it's lowest in the 100% RE and reach zero by 2050. And last result is a policy roadmap. We call it to promote the energy transition. And we have like the recommendation for the entire periods from now till 2015. But of course in Vietnam, you know, the policy is will be changed because it's a long period. It's nearly 30 years from now to 2050. But, so we would like to focus on the upcoming time till now to 2030, because you know Vietnam have a set target on LDC by 2030. So we will focus on the periods from now to 2030, and we propose 4 specific recommendations. The first one is integration of RE in the power sector. As I mentioned from the beginning, that we cannot integrate the high volume of renewable in the system right now because of the limited capacity of the transmission grid. So we need to focus on that. We invest more on the grid so we can try to absorb as much as possible the renewable energy, but still ensure the national energy security. And we also need to do the research and development of the storage system to back up for the electricity system. And the second recommendation is electrification of the transport. That's a very important actor, because in the transport sector, we see we will reach a much higher energy efficiency consumption. To compare between the fossil fuel vehicle and the electric vehicle can reach like twice to 3 times higher efficiency than the fossil fuel vehicle. So we need to issue the regulation to support for this sector. And the third recommendation is offshore wind. Offshore wind is very potential area we can develop in the future, you know, because we have like the more than, according to the research and surveys of World Bank, we have about 317 gigawatt of wind, including offshore and onshore wind. That's a lot. And we also have in the PDPH, we just issued the PDPH in May 2023 after the long waiting time. And we set the target of offshore wind is 6 gigawatt by 2030. But still, from now to 2030, it's not many time left. So we need to issue the regulations as soon as possible to like to support, to encourage the investor to working on the offshore wind to reach the 6 gigawatt by 2030. And the last one is integration of climate change target with the Vietnam NDC goal. This one because we have the ministry, different ministry will issue the climate change target in for their sector like the industry or transportation. But of course, for nationwide and national level, we have the NDC that is the overall target. So on the regulation and policy of the ministry should be aligned with the NDC. So that the four main recommendation of the policy roadmap. I think that all for the sharing from Vietnam. Yeah.
Thank you, Trung.
And you can, yeah, you can if you can download the report from the QR code. Thank you.
Thank you, Trung. It's great that you've also mentioned just now the NDCs, of course, because it's a global stocktake year, and everybody is looking at what their NDCs are on about and how they can update them and are they on track or not. So, of course, 100% a renewable energy push will certainly help many countries make it there. I know there was at least one question. If you'll indulge me to ask 2 short questions to each of you, if you keep your answers slightly brief. And actually, I'm going to go back to, let me see who I'm going. I'm going back to you, Vietnam. I'm going back to Trung very, very quickly because you were just talking about the capacity there. And as you see, your chart here is the one that stands out the most for us. Can you just walk us very briefly, 2-3 minutes, what's happening there in the electricity capacity bow versus 100% RE? Can you just talk us through the numbers very briefly to give us a little bit more insight?
Okay, let me see the photo first. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah. This one, I think it's similar to the Uganda case that to become more renewable energy, we need a lot more electricity. That's because the first reason is economic growth. Yeah, we have like 6.5% of electricity demand increase every year. We will do nothing. And the second reason is to become 80% or 100% RE, we will need more electricity for the electrification because we want to maximize the electrification for all the whole sector, 5 sector. So we need more. And in modeling result, we need in 80 RE, we need about 3.7 times higher than the bow. I mean, in the 2050, it's not from the from now, but in 2050, to compare between bow and the 80 RE, we will need 3.7 times higher than the bow, and with the 100 RE, we will need 4.6 times higher than the bow. That's the reason. And one more reason, we need more electricity because we need the renewable fuel. And if we produce a renewable fuel by electrolysis from water, we will need electricity. So that's also the reason we need more electricity. Thank you.
Thank you, Trung. So obviously there's a lot of pathways to achieve this capacity growth, and each country has a different contextualization, of course, of what's possible there and what they foresee within their pathways. Thank you. And a very quick question then also to Uganda and Bidia, to Uganda and Nepal. Bidia, maybe we'll start with you. So you can see here, this is how your energy sources look. This is how you hope for them to progress. Can you give us a little bit more detail about maybe what the top 2 to 3 issues you would see to achieve the 100% RE moving forward? Just the top 2, 3 regarding the energy source mix. Bidia?
Thank you for the question. So I think we 3 countries have some similarity because as like we have policies, we have targets, we have NDC and LTS targets. But I think in Nepal, like they are only focusing on hydro because we are the second richest in water, you can say. So, but I think we can see like we need energy mix concept. by 2050. And like we can see in the technical scenario also, like solar and other renewables will be the majority by 2050. Hydro will be the kind of will stop somewhere, and the renewables will be take place as majority. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Yona, obviously, in your situation there, what the thing that sticks out probably most is that you're going from a nuclear heavy base to a really renewable heavy solar situation. So maybe you could just talk about the 2 to 3 top things where you would say that's going to be a bit of a challenge or maybe an opportunity to go from BAU to 100% RE specifically with regarding that. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier, of course, business as usual scenario, it's based on the government plans, and one of it we have actually in Vision 2040 is having and most of the energy from nuclear power plants, over 20 megawatts. 20 gigawatts, over 20 gigawatts from nuclear power plants. But of course, the investment cost of this, of course, is quite high. Maintenance and regarding safety issues is high, and of course, looking at this, that we are talking of 2040. But of course, now we are almost more than halfway, and we haven't yet even installed these power plants. So, of course, it remains as business as usual. But of course, now if we say we have to go full renewable by 2050, we see that, of course, we shall entirely depend on solar, and 90%, of course, of energy will come from solar energy. And based on the economic aspects or on the investment cost, we realize that however much the investment cost of this scenario is high, but still the operation and maintenance and all the unit cost of power will be cheaper, and about over 60% cheaper than if we are to go business as usual scenario. So really, we see that it is feasible, more feasible, to go to this 100% renewable energy scenario than actually the business as usual scenario. Yeah.
Thank you, Yona. Yeah, so climate finance comes up again, right? Financing is another issue, and as you point out, luckily the curve for renewables keeps going down in terms of the cost, and the curve for everything else keeps going up. So there's quite a clear imperative here for all of us. Before I give my last question, I know you had a question you wanted to ask, so can you just say where you're from, your name, and then please.
Thank you. My name is Laurent. I'm in charge of policy and partnership for the office, WWF regional office. Yeah. I have a series of questions, but let me just pick one or two. For Nepal, I've seen that you alluded only to the provincial and the local government. I've not seen, you did not indicate anything regarding the national government. That's looking at the slide. Is there any reason why the national government, particularly if we're talking about policies, that's one. The question about Uganda, I had difficulty understanding actually the biomass part compared to. I was a bit lost when I look at the figures. It was more. I was thinking that instead the biomass wasn't the most. I don't know if the figure, but I have difficulty understanding the figures that you present. But we can take it offline there. And the last point is on for Vietnam. Yes, the recommendation that you have made, the 4 recommendation. What is the policy part of it? Because it's more, what policy is necessary to sustain actually the implementation of the recommendation that you have? I cannot see the policy part of it. Yeah.
So who wants to go first? Bidia, perhaps you go first. Thanks.
Thank you for your question. I think earlier I mentioned about the province, right? From this map project, like we have made energy strategy and action plan in 2 provinces, but in the process of technical scenario document and the policy roadmap, it is with national government, and we have worked closely with Energy Ministry to make this document, and we have formally hand over to the Energy Ministry, and we're working closely with them to work in this 100% RE pathway. I think, yeah. Thank you.
Joona, how about you take the next question?
Yes, yeah, on the biomass components, yeah, I think it was the other first pie chart, right? Yeah, that one actually it is, yes, it's about actually 89.7% biomass, that bigger one. So the other blue blue small thing is just electricity, actually. Yeah, that is electricity. It is less than 2%. Yeah. So, but of course, it is unsustainable. That's why in the models we have to look at sustainability aspect, where actually we limited it to 10 million tons per year to be sustainable. But currently we're about over 44 million tons per year. So by 2050, we shall need only to use 10 million tons per year. So reducing by 25%. Yeah.
Thanks, Joona. Trung, on to you.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. My apologize. Maybe I'm not so clear about your question, but I'm understanding that yeah, maybe you want to know how the recommendation will be taken by the policy maker, right? Vietnam. Yeah, I think it's because of the result. As a result of my project is the policy roadmap. We propose some specific recommendation, and after that, I think the next step we will share our result to the policy maker and other stakeholders of Vietnam through the different event or yeah, workshop with them about the recommendation, and we hope that it will be the reference document for them. For example, with the first one, the recommendation on the how to integrate RE in the network, it will be in charge by the MOIT. So we will invite the MOIT, the Ministry of Industry and Trade in Vietnam, invite them to come, and we will present our result with them and pursue them to do so. And for the electrification of transport, it will be in charge by the Ministry of Transportation. So yeah, we will focus on them and hope that they will take our recommendation. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. I mean, my question would have also been on advocacy, but since we have no time left, I guess it's up to me to thank all of you for being here, and to all of you for your questions and for your interest. I'm one of a tripartite, actually WWF Germany, which is why we're here in the Panda Hub. We're the lead German partners here, and it was World Future Council and Bold for die Welt as well, who were part of this project. We're all here, and we want to talk about this work. So if you have more questions, or you want to know, hey, how can this work in my country, or tell me more so that we could maybe work together, come, talk to us. We're very friendly, and we want this to go farther than where we are, and we're ready to take it there. So thanks you again, and successful COP to everyone.